Welcome, everybody, back to Table for One, where there are 4 contestants and only 1 seat at the table. So, last week, we had a couple things go down where Anthony of Sports Fluent was talking a little bit of crap about Matthew Stafford. So, it's only right that for this show this week, we're going to start with Anthony with his take. The first question of this week's show. Matthew Stafford proved the naysayers wrong. Anthony. The Rams were dominant on both sides of the ball. Should they be the new favorites in the NFC? So, Anthony, I know you had to make a statement about Stafford. After you do that, how do you feel about the Rams in the NFC?
Well, let me start off by saying my comment isn't about Stafford. My comment is about the Rams. I thought the Rams were going to lose to the Cardinals. I picked the Rams. I was clearly wrong about the Rams defense and how good they were and the type of game plan that they were going to put together to stop the Cardinals. So that being said, to answer your question, okay, did Matthew Stafford prove the naysayers wrong? Me? No. I don't think he proved anything other than what we already knew about him, is that he can have good games and he can have really, really bad games. If you look at what they did, what did they do? They protected him. They played it safe. He didn't take shots down the field. They ran the ball 38 times. 38 times they ran the ball. He only threw it 17 times. So what did they do? They didn't showcase Matthew Stafford. They protected Matthew Stafford. And just as he threw 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions this week, he's just as likely to throw 3 interceptions. Last week, he's just as likely to throw 3 interceptions next week. So did he prove anything wrong? No, other than, he made a milestone. He won his first playoff game. Congratulations to Matthew Stafford. You won a playoff game, but he didn't show me anything.
So are they the favorites in the NFC?
No, I still think that they've got to go through. I still think Green Bay is the favorite. Green Bay has the best record, has the bye week, has the best quarterback, has the best running game, even though Cam Akers came back and rushed for like 55 yards, even though they rushed the ball that much. I still think Green Bay is the class of the NFC right now, and that's who you're going to have to beat to make it to the Super Bowl.
OJ, how you feeling?
It's a tough one, man, but I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna have to say yes. I think they are the team to beat, man, and I have them. I have them leapfrogging the Packers, and part of the reason is because I haven't seen the Packers yet, but I've seen the Rams. Right, defensively, the Rams are better than the Packers, especially when you have Von Miller as effective as he was. Right, so now on all 3 levels, you have a stud. Right, you have Donald, right, in the line. In the linebacking core, you have Von Miller, and then in the secondary, you have Jalen Ramsey. No other team can say that they have that. They have a top 3 coach, top 5, arguably top 3 coach. So to me, defensively, they're better than the Packers. Coaching-wise, they're better than the Packers. As far as their offense, you can make an argument the Packers' offense is better, but when you think about all the weapons they have, I mean, Higbee, now they have Cam. Odell Beckham has arguably been the best. He's had the best outing in the wild card weekend. So for a receiver, it's Odell Beckham, right? So to be completely honest with you, we didn't even see much from Cooper Kupp. So that's not going to happen again. Unfortunately, my Bucks are going to have to learn that lesson. So offensively, they're it's, to me, it's a little bit more high octane, their offense. So for those reasons, from top to bottom, I mean, the only unknown variable is Matthew Stafford. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he had a pretty good game. So yeah, I absolutely believe from top to bottom, the Rams are the team to beat.
Jeff, do you think they're the favorite in the NFC?
My gut is telling me, no, we can't go there with it. I siding with what Anthony's saying here. I'm a little bit of whoop-de-doo. You guys got out of the first round. Guess what, Rams? Preseason talk, you guys are supposed to get out of the first round. You guys are supposed to be Super Bowl contenders. So, a very impressive showing. I like that they did it against a tough Cardinals team. But they have an insanely tough road to the Super Bowl. The Bucks aren't playing their best football, but you still got to beat them. And then the Packers.
At home?
Holy cow, the Packers. You've got Aaron Rodgers. Okay, I'll take Rodgers over Stafford. You've got Devontae Adams. I'm taking him over any wideout you want to pick on the Rams, including Kupp. And the 2-headed monster that is Dillon and Aaron Jones. That's as great of a running back duo in the NFL as anybody. So Packers are the favorite in the NFC. The Rams, you got to prove it every single week because that's what everybody on your team is, a prove-it player, a veteran that is supposed to be on this stage.
Dub-Zero, how do you feel about the Rams right about now?
Yeah, I love it. I love what I seen. And the BS that I heard Fluent saying that they was protecting Matthew Stafford. It's just a load of baloney, bro. Listen, Cam Akers and Sonny Michel was hot on fire as soon as that game started. So, of course, you have to roll with what's cooking. You can't change up the game plan if something's going for yourself. So they ran the ball because that's what was going to work for them. And I will not go as far to say that the favorites have come out the NFC because I said this before. The Arizona Cardinals was not a good team at that moment. They had a great start, but then they struggled towards the end. So I'm not all high hopes they're the team to beat in the NFC, but you want to know something? They're beating the Bucs. They're beating the Bucs, and they're going to have to, like what Fluent said, they're going to have to go through Aaron Rodgers to make it to that Super Bowl. Because honestly, you guys, I'm sorry, the Bucs, their CBs have been decimated, and Matthew Stafford and Odell and Cooper Kupp, what they're going to do to them boys is going to be really sad to see and really sad to watch. I'm sorry. And the fact that the Bucs only have Mike Evans, and then you're going to pair Mike Evans against Jalen Ramsey. Like, can we stop making this about Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers or Matthew Stafford and freaking Tom Brady? Can we look at the Rams versus the Bucs and the Rams versus the Packers? It is a team sport. Stop trying to make this a QB versus QB thing because it is not that. The Rams are way too loaded to be disrespected the way they've been disrespected by Fluent.
And I think we all agree that the Rams should beat the Bucs and face Green Bay. I think we're all in agreement there. But here's the thing: when you get to that game, okay, maybe not, but you're the host. You don't get to pick. You're not talking this round. But if we all agree that that's the matchup, which is going to be the Rams and the Packers, yes, I think I like the Rams defense better than the Packers defense. But once you get to the offensive side of the ball, who do you trust more? Aaron Rodgers or Matthew Stafford? Devontae Adams or Kupp/OBJ? Who do you trust more? Akers and Michelle or Jones and Dillon? So I think offensively is going to be the difference that, yes, I think the Rams defense is better, but I don't think they're good enough. I still think the Packers offense outscores what the Rams will do.
The Packers still have to win through the arm of Aaron Rodgers. The addition of Cam Akers is a variable that cannot be understated, bro. Like that.
Yeah, no, that's why they won.
Now you're taking a lot of pressure from Stafford. And Stafford, bro, he threw some solid throws, man. It wasn't
he did. No, he did. But to say that he threw the ball 17 times for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, that's not a, oh my God, wow, he's made it. He played a very nice, solid game.
That might be all they need. If their defense,
if they can run like that,
they dominated the game so much they didn't need to do anything else.
I agree, but that's what I'm saying. He didn't. When you say did he prove himself, he didn't really show me anything.
And
he didn't have to do anything. He didn't really have to do anything
either because he's 1-4 NFC Championship games. So there's that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Hey, Matt, can I just end it on
Rodgers?
here?
You have to prove it.
Let Dub end it real quick.
Sean McVay went to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff. That's all I have to say.
Was that defense better or worse than this year's defense?
The defense right now is still good.
No. Don't answer the question. Were they better or worse than this year's defense?
I don't think it's that far off as you're trying to make it seem. It's not that far off at all.
Todd Gurley was huge as well. So
I think that's the biggest factor.
Todd Gurley's no Cam Akers.
If you made it with Jared Goff, you can make it with Matthew Stafford. I will die on that
equivalent,
hill.
But I get what you're saying.
All right. So for this one's tough. So I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I think that we're going to have to do a buy or sell for this one. And it's really close. Jeff, you're definitely making it on. If anybody would have brought up the 49ers in this discussion, then you would have moved on. Not because of bias, but because the 49ers have absolutely owned the Packers and the Rams. I think the Bucs are the favorites. I know nobody else here does because the Bucs are banged up. I'm still rocking with Tom Brady. But
interesting.
we're gonna have to wait a second. So, Dub, I like your arguments a lot too. So you're moving on as well with Jeff, OJ, Anthony. I'm gonna have you guys do this one with a tiebreaker. So for a buy or sell, Cliff Kingsbury had a more disappointing outing than Mike McCarthy. Are you buying that take or are you selling that take?
Ooh.
Obviously, they both struggled a lot. OJ, you can lead this one off because Anthony started last time.
I'll be honest with you. I could go either way with this one, man. But at the end of the day, let's be completely honest. The reason why Mike McCarthy had a more disappointing take is because guess what? Cliff Kingsbury was supposed to lose, right? He was like he's out of his best weapon on offense in D Hop, and it's just Kyler Murray had an absolutely terrible game. So for me, a lot of that is on Kyler Murray. Not whereas if I look at Mike McCarthy, man, the play calling was suspect. Like what the heck was that at the end with Dak Prescott running a quarterback draw with less than 16 seconds left? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of opportunities. But the biggest thing, the biggest variable was the fact that the Dallas Cowboys had 14 penalties. That speaks of an undisciplined team. And that falls squarely on the shoulders of the head coach. And at the end of the day, it's Cowboys. They have the largest market. It's America's team. So everything is amplified. The entire segment on Tuesday morning was Dallas Cowboys and how they lost. No one cared about the 49ers. The fact that, well, guess what? They actually won. They executed. They dominated. You know what I mean? People didn't talk about the Bills. It was all the Cowboys. At the end of the day, the Cowboys were supposed to win that game. Even though I had the 49ers winning, the Cowboys were still supposed to win. It's at home. You're favored. There's no excuses. Shut up or put up. So Mike McCarthy, hands down.
I wouldn't say hands down. I think, the play for the quarterback draw, right? Like I just talked to a football coach yesterday who said it was actually a pretty clever play. Like offensive coordinators around the league were like, actually, it's pretty brilliant. Had Dak Prescott gotten down quicker, like gone 12 yards instead of 14 yards, they come back, they spike it. The offensive linemen are already running and they're in position because in pass protection, if they had thrown it, they have to stay back and then run up to the line. So he kind of broke down the X's and O's and says it was actually a pretty clever play, except Dak went too far. And that's what kind of cost them the timing. Don't blame the refs. That being said, I hate Mike McCarthy as a coach. I think I'm going to agree with he's the bigger disappointment because they shouldn't have been in that position in the first place. They were at home. They were favored. They probably have one of the best teams in football on paper, and they clearly underperform all the time. So, yes, and that's all on coaching. The penalties, the play calling, all of that is coaching. However, I don't want to let Cliff Kingsbury off the hook so easy because we were just talking about one game, but look at Cliff Kingsbury since 2013. Every single year from Texas Tech, from 2013, 14, 15, right through to 2021, look at his records, how he ends the season. Loses 5 of 6, loses 6 of 7, loses 6 of 8, loses 5 of 6, loses 5 of 7. That's every single year as a head coach since 2013 from Texas Tech right through to the Cardinals. So there's an issue with Cliff Kingsbury and what he does in terms of adjustments as the season goes on, because it doesn't look like he makes any. And defenses and other coaches figure him out, and he always loses late in the season. So I don't want to let him off the hook. I think Mike McCarthy's the worst of the two, but I wouldn't let Cliff Kingsbury off the hook.
And by the way, as a rule of thumb in the NFL, if you have 16 seconds or more, then you do a running play. If it's less than 16 seconds, as a rule of thumb, generally speaking, you don't run a running play because most of the times you're not going to get it off.
I agree with you, but that's why I said this head coach told me it was actually a pretty clever play had he stopped and spiked it. So either way, it looks bad, but again, they shouldn't have even been in that position.
And he has the arm. Just throw a Hail Mary from the 40-yard line.
Yeah.
I could throw the ball.
Yeah, 2 Hail Mary. I think for me, if I was head coach, that's what I'm doing. Is I'm throwing 2 Hail Marys.
Y'all missed a hitter, bro, and I think that hitter would have won y'all the argument. Y'all should have mentioned Mike McCarthy with Aaron Rodgers, how he had him for years and did nothing except for one Super Bowl.
Oh, I say that all the time. I said Mike McCarthy never should have been hired in Dallas. Isn't that just a given?
I feel like a lot of people feel like that. I think a lot of people feel like that for a while.
Yeah.
But with this one, I think it's close. I'm going to have to rock with OJ. Anthony, I agree with your points too. I just thought that OJ did a better job kind of highlighting the flaws that we saw from Mike McCarthy in this game, where it almost wasn't like the Cardinals went out there and they just got beat. They got flat out beat. Obviously, Cliff has been horrible in the second half of the year, but I also feel like, can it be that disappointing if it happens every single year? Because it's like you said, it's legitimately happened every single time where Mike McCarthy has this whole stacked team. They're favored and they have an absolute meltdown performance. I mean, on the first drive, Micah Parsons threw a punch at Brandon Ayuk, didn't get ejected, but literally threw a punch at him, 5 minutes into the game. Like they came out there so undisciplined, and it was so chaotic.
Yeah, so I said it was Mike McCarthy. I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like I said the Packers are the favorite, and you took that personal because of your damn 49ers. All right. So be it.
No, everyone said the Packers are the favorite.
Have your bias. All right, that's fine.
All right, Anthony, you can join the judges table on this one. I thought you had good answers. I honestly thought everyone had really good answers.
Oh, no, I had great answers. I absolutely had great answers. As
Except
always.
for Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
He stinks.
All right. So we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to go to the NBA in this one. So we'll start with Dub Zero in this one. We'll go Dub Zero, Jeff, OJ. So question today, who are you taking on your team? Jimmy Butler or DeMar DeRozan?
Yeah, this is one of the most easiest questions to answer. It's Jimmy Butler, and it's so obvious. DeMar DeRozan is playing extremely well, but this isn't an MVP race. This is about winning championships. And listen, LeBron James was the best player in the world for how long now? And people wasn't basing that off of stats. People wasn't basing that off of what he did in regular season. They knew who he was, and they knew that they could trust him in the playoffs, and they knew that he was that valuable to winning a championship. So I don't understand why people don't base everything off of that alone. Jimmy Butler right now, within recent memory, within the last 2 to 3 years, he has proven to be reliable in the playoffs. He has proven to have that killer mentality. He has proven to be that dog that you need to go to a championship. DeMar DeRozan, yes, he was on the San Antonio Spurs, so there wasn't really a chance for him to show that dog in him because that team was just bad to begin with, honestly. And he's showing that dog in him right now, and I love what I'm seeing. But let's not forget, in 2018, I don't care what y'all say. In 2018, there was no reason for him to lose to LeBron and that Cleveland Cavaliers team. When you see a dog, and that's what LeBron, he was a dog and he was wounded. You gotta go ahead and put the nail in that coffin to send him home, and he didn't. It doesn't make sense to me that DeMar DeRozan couldn't put him away, but then the Boston Celtics in the very next series went to Game 7 with him. That's the main reason why, to me, I'm picking Jimmy Butler to take me to the promised land over DeMar DeRozan.
Listen, Jimmy Butler's been in the league 9-10 years. DeMar DeRozan's been in the league 12 years. If you don't know who these guys are by now, I don't know what you've been doing the last decade. These are veteran guys who have proven who they are as professionals. So I'm not all that surprised. What's great about these two guys, their stories are so different. Jimmy Butler, his whole career, I feel like he's been this caged animal that's been waiting to get unleashed, and he finally found a home in Miami where Jimmy can be Jimmy. And we saw what that guy can do. He's taking a team as the leader to the finals. He did that. And the story of his career isn't as feel-good as DeMar DeRozan. Your heart aches for this guy. The way he left Toronto, the team wins a championship. He's rotting away in San Antonio. It's a feel-good story that DeMar DeRozan, kudos to him for having the mindset to not quit, to not get into shut it down mode, making money. He's got a very valuable role on a very good team. But push comes to shove, Jimmy's on a different tier than DeMar, and you have a whole career to back up a statement like that.
So, I mean, I agree with both of you guys. Unfortunately, you didn't do a very good job of explaining why exactly Jimmy Butler is better than DeMar DeRozan. So I'll take this opportunity to do that, right? There's only one thing DeMar DeRozan does better than Jimmy, and even then that's debatable. That's scoring, right? I think DeMar DeRozan's averaging about 25 points per game right now, whereas Jimmy's averaging only 22. Jimmy Butler is a better rebounder than him. He's a better facilitator. He's averaging more assists. His player efficiency rating is better. But more importantly, more than anything else, Jimmy Butler is a type of player that changes an entire organization. And he changes it by changing the culture because of how much of a dog he is. And he demands excellence in a way that DeMar DeRozan cannot. And so for those reasons, I mean, he literally does everything better. And the only reason Jimmy Butler is not averaging more points than him is because the bench scoring in Miami is a lot better than in Chicago. You have Tyler Hero averaging above 20 points per game off the bench. So they don't need him to have the scoring output that Butler has. So for those reasons, I mean, he as a basketball player, forget the finals, forget all those things that you guys listed. As a basketball player in a vacuum, he does a lot more things a lot better than than DeMar DeRozan.
I gotta say I disagree, OJ. I don't think the skill set of what DeMar DeRozan's bringing to the table is all that different than what Jimmy's bringing to the table. That mindset, though, that ability to step into that big dog role, that is a separation between those guys.
Jimmy Butler's defensive tenacity is miles better than DeRozan. Miles better.
They have the same skill set. He's got the mental drive to take it that next level.
So let me ask you this. You're saying that DeMar DeRozan's defensive skills is as good as Jimmy Butler's?
He's just as good of an athlete. Yes.
Is he just as good as a defender?
No.
Nowhere close. Jimmy Butler is legitimate.
But the reason isn't because of skill and ability. The reason is because of mindset. Jimmy's that killer. DeMar DeRozan is maybe I don't think so.
Wait.
DeMar
You
DeRozan,
mean
for how athletic he is, he's a subpar defender. He should be a much better defender for how athletic he is.
I have a question. So you're blaming his defense because of his killer mentality? I don't see how that makes sense.
Defense is effort. What are you talking about? You gotta have that mental drive to put in that effort.
Listen, I hate that argument.
Defense is a combination of effort and skill set. Like if some people are just limited because of like Stephen Curry, you're gonna be limited. I don't care how much effort Stephen Curry has. He's too small. There's certain things he can't do.
I watch Stephen Curry and I see him meet. Yep. I watch Stephen Curry.
I mean, you have someone like Michael Jordan. Of course, Michael Jordan is going to be one of the greatest defenders of all time. That's when mindset and killer mentality meets athletic ability. That's when you have Michael Jordan as a defender. Like that's when you have both. So, but really, the defense of Jimmy Butler is truly what separates those two guys as players. Because you're right. Like as far if you look at the total numbers, it's pretty close. But defensively, yeah, Jimmy Butler's top 3 in his position. DeMar DeRozan, he's outside of the top 5. I'm top 10.
I agree. And the thing to end it on is that Jimmy brings that mentality to the entire franchise. He's a perfect fit for Pat Riley and Spoelstra and what the Heat organization does.
Anthony, what do you got?
I vote against them all because they're all wrong. Because the question was who's better right now today. And yes, historically, Jimmy Butler maybe is the better defender, which makes up for the lack of offense. But DeMar DeRozan's in the MVP conversation for a reason. He has the better stats. He's carried his teams further more often.
That is
he does. Go look.
Jimmy Butler is averaging 22 points a game, 6 boards, 6 assists. DeMar DeRozan is averaging 25 points a game, less than 6 boards and less than 6 assists. The reason he's in the MVP race is because the Bulls have overachieved so much and they're number 1 in the league. That's the reason he's MVP.
It's not even just the Bulls.
We expected the Heat to be a top 3 seeding. It's the seeding. That's why he's in the number 1 MVP race. Make no mistake about that. Because if it's purely on numbers, Luka would be above him. It's a plethora of players that'd be above him if we're looking strictly numbers.
It's not even just that.
My vote, to answer your question, Matt, my vote is for Dub because his double-holics have threatened my life. So I'm voting Dub.
But before that, it's not even just the Bulls that exceeded expectation. DeMar DeRozan also exceeded expectation.
He's having his best year in his career.
Nobody thought that he still had this in his bag. So that is also why people are caught up in the recency bias.
But that's the question is right now. It is. We are talking about recency bias because they're saying, who would you take right now?
The question, yes, who would you take right now? And it's
right
still
now.
Jimmy Butler. You tell me you would take James Harden in 2018 or 2019 over LeBron James. You wouldn't.
Yeah, it's still Butler. That's not even something I would take time thinking about. Like, oh yeah, Butler easily.
Do you want any more votes? Do you want me? Who should I vote out? I'd vote out OJ because he keeps talking back. He doesn't respect the judges.
That's Dub and OJ. So Matt, which one is it?
Okay.
1 vote for Dub, a negative for OJ. Go ahead. I'll mute back out.
I think we're gonna do another tiebreaker, but we're gonna do this one quick. Jeff, you're moving on to the final round.
Wow.
I think you guys just started tearing down Jeff's argument, and Jeff was agreeing with what you were saying. So
OJ,
I thought his initial argument was really good.
OJ went crazy.
Like I went crazy because he tried to kind of like skirt around the defense thing. I like it.
Don't let him talk back to you, Matt. Don't let him. If you want to throw him right out.
I mean, like,
you have that.
No,
tiebreaker question for you guys.
Go ahead.
Jalen Hurts has the potential to be a franchise quarterback. Are you buying or selling that statement? Obviously, they just got completely blown out, but they did make the playoffs this year on a team that I don't think anyone really expected them to go that far. Now, Dub, you're the Eagles fan, so I'm going to let OJ start this one off.
I'm selling it. I'm not buying it one bit. And as you guys know, I'm an Alabama fan, so I was right there watching it at home when in the national championship game against Georgia, they benched him at halftime for Tua, and then Tua then threw the ball to Devontae Smith for the game-winning touchdown, right? And the problem is simple. Jalen Hurts has never been prolific inside the confines of the pocket of the pocket, right? And in my opinion, the most important skill set to have as a quarterback in today's NFL is proficiency within the confines of the pocket. He does not have that. Can he possibly have that? Yes, but guess what? I don't see that, and I don't see the Eagles making moves to sort of enhance that. What I see the Eagles doing is a lot of read option crap, a lot of RPO stuff, almost like a miniature Cam Newton / Lamar Jackson or whatever. So they've already told me, the Eagles have told me that this is what we see Jalen Hurts as. We're not going to try to enhance his ability to throw in the pocket. And because of those reasons, I don't think he'll never be truly a franchise quarterback. I think it'll be decent, but ultimately those tricks, RPO and read option, all that stuff has an expiration date. And eventually they're going to be able to find a way to scheme against that. So, and because of that massive flaw, I don't think he'll overcome that. And therefore, I don't think he's a franchise quarterback, or he will be a franchise quarterback.
So Jalen Hurts is in a team that really has no faith in him, really doesn't believe in him. And the fact that he's balling out the way that he's balling out really translates to the type of person that he is. That's the main reason why I'm so high on Jalen Hurts, because it's like literally the whole world is against him. And this guy goes out and guess what? He made the playoffs. You can't take that away from him. He made the playoffs. Do I think he has potential to be a franchise quarterback? Yes. You want to know why? Because we've seen Lamar Jackson have almost the same exact struggles. And what did he do? He corrected those struggles. I believe the same thing is possible for Jalen Hurts, but the issue is he needs a team that believes in him. He needs a team that has faith in him. I think that he needs to get the hell out of the Eagles franchise and find a team that really wants him and is really willing to work around his flaws and willing to teach him how to be that pocket passer. I don't think the Eagles are for that. The Eagles have been trying to trade him constantly. They've shown that they don't want Jalen Hurts, and that hurts. That hurts the development of a player. So the main thing for him to become a franchise QB, get the hell out of Philadelphia. And I'm an Eagles fan, and I'm telling you that. Get the hell out of Philadelphia.
I just have one question for you. Lamar Jackson is a proficient pocket passer?
No. We've seen the improvements that he's made. I said we've seen he made improvements from that first year that he started.
Yeah, so he's not a terrible pocket passer. He's a below average. All right.
Lamar Jackson is way better than he was coming into the league, and then he won MVP the next year. You can't take that away from Lamar like that. Come on. Wow.
Huntley looked just as good in the offense as Lamar Jackson, if not better.
What? So what? That shows that they're willing to work around those guys.
I'm just gonna address.
We're gonna turn this into a Lamar Jackson debate.
We can't turn into a Lamar Jackson debate. That'll be a long one.
and by the way, the last thing I'll say is Jalen Hurts, man. The teams he beat, it's a bunch of cupcake teams, man. And they barely got in the playoffs. So he beat
the teams he should have beat. He beat the teams he should have beat.
I don't know about that. He hasn't won a game where his rushing attack was not effective. But yeah.
So I don't think that. Okay, I disagree with some of the points that each of you made. I also agree with some of the points that each of you made. I'm gonna have to rock with Dub on this one though, because first of all, I don't think Jalen Hurts is ever going to be anything near Lamar Jackson. Agreed. I think you guys are, because Lamar Jackson's second year compared to Jalen Hurts' second year, Lamar won the MVP. And Jalen Hurts definitely exceeded expectations. I think the big difference, though, and you started to kind of get into this a little bit, Dub, was the Ravens built an offense that was completely made for Lamar Jackson to succeed. And now they have progressed it to a point where he can develop as a pocket passer. He was a lot better this year as a pocket passer. And they had by far the worst offensive line he's ever been a part of in Baltimore. The Eagles have the personnel to run a deep threat, play action base, let's just start throwing everything down the field. That's what their receiving core is. And that is not Jalen Hurts' game at all. I think that Jalen Hurts is probably the most likely quarterback under contract this year to be moved next year. I think that is almost a guarantee to happen. And you kind of got into that, Dub, that you're not going to see him have the crazy success with the Eagles because they're not really interested in it. They are just really focusing on all right, we just don't have the personnel, but we're going to move on from you. So we're going to kind of get as much as we can out with you, run you into the ground and make a little run, because that's what they did. Yep. And it's a good spot for the Eagles. Not really a good spot for Jalen Hurts, though. So, But I'm going to have to rock with Dub on that one. So with all that said, final round, Dub 0 versus Jeff. Going back to the NFL, so we did just do an NBA question, but then got a little bit of the hurt stuff in. So final question. We got the divisional round weekend coming up. So in the AFC, how would you rank the remaining teams 1 through 4? This weekend, we have Chiefs, Bills, and Titans, Bengals. So obviously, how you're ranking them isn't just pure talent, but how do you think this is going to play out? Who has the best chance to move on and get to the Super Bowl in this case? 1 through 4. Jeff, you haven't talked in a little bit, so you can start it out.
Yeah, let me put my ranking out there first, then I'll get into why. I got Chiefs on top of this, Bills number 2, Bengals number 3, Titans number 4. The Titans at 4, yeah, they're the 1 seed. The one thing that I'd say positive about them, they won 4 out of their 5 last games. But you know what? Derrick Henry hasn't played since week 8. Hello. And Ryan Tannehill, of all the quarterbacks left in that division, in that conference, Tannehill's the guy that I do not like stepping up in the big game when the team needs it. And they're going to be adjusting, bringing Derrick Henry back. On top of that, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Mixon, Boyd, like Higgins, that offense, they were coming into the playoffs on fire, and they got some great experience getting that playoff win against the Raiders. That was the game. I was more worried about the Bengals against the Raiders than I am about the Bengals coming against the Titans, because guess what? Now they're an experienced playoff team. So I'm liking the Bengals for that upset, and then the Chiefs over the Bills. You want me to trust Allen and Singletary over the talent of the Chiefs and for them to keep up with them? Now, both teams are coming off impressive wins. I like what both the Bills and the Chiefs did to get to this game. But give me the team that's been to the Super Bowl in the last 2 years, already is a championship. And the Buffalo Bills, not the team to trust. They're more along the lines of a Ryan Tannehill than the Mahomes and the team I want to take home. But keep an eye on the Bengals, everybody. They've been hot.
So I kind of agree with Jeff. I got Chiefs and Bills as 1 or 2. I don't care. Whoever's winning that game is making the Super Bowl. Then I got the Titans and then the Bengals. Listen, bro, I like Joe Burrow and what he has to offer, but listen, the Titans have been in that environment before. The Titans have that experience, and experience does matter in the game of football. In regards to the game for game, what could happen if Derrick Henry is playing? It's not hard to run the ball, man. It's Derrick Henry, bro. If you have a great running game, and a great defense on top of that, that betters your chances. It's fundamental football, and I'm stealing that from Fluent and Bama because they tell me that constantly, and I mean constantly on Gridiron. It's fundamental football. If you have a dominant run and a great defense, you're able to mask the weaknesses of your quarterback. And let's not forget, they still have A.J. Brown on that team as well. Let's not completely discredit the Titans as a team. And the way that defense have been playing for the last few weeks is amazing. They're really stepping up. So now you got to think about it like this. If they're able to run down the throat, kill some clock, put pressure on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase to score quick enough, that's going to be harder for them to go through, honestly, especially if they're milking the clock. So that right there is not a foregone conclusion, bro. So the Titans is 3, and then the Bengals is 4. Then you was getting into the Bills, because you said the Bills wasn't really that. I don't know what you said about the Bills.
They're not playing their best. They're not playing their best football right now.
They're not playing their best football right now. Listen, Josh Allen just put on a show against their rivals, bro, against Bill Belichick. Josh Allen is really that guy. Josh Allen is the second best remaining quarterback in the AFC. And if Patrick Mahomes doesn't put him out, he's going to the Super Bowl. Josh Allen is that guy, I promise you, especially with the amount of talent that they have on that field, bro. They have a weak front seven. I acknowledge that completely. But that secondary, bro, is just way too elite. And if they ran the ball the way they ran the ball through the Patriots' throats, I'm sorry, bro. I don't see a lot of teams beating them.
The Chiefs will. This Sunday.
Yes, I agree. I love the baby goat Mahomes. I love him. But
Bills Mafia.
That's my take.
OJ, Anthony, who do you guys think won this one?
For me, I think it's Jeff with a slam dunk, and he made an absolutely excellent point when he literally rebutted Dub's point before Dub made it. When he talked about Derrick Henry, he hasn't played since week 8, and so a lot of Titans fans think he's just gonna come on the game like he's been out this long, and then they're just gonna basically pick up where they left off. No, football
I
doesn't work
acknowledge
that way.
that.
They're gonna have to go through those adjustments, and that's an assumption that Derrick Henry's just gonna come back and we're gonna go where we started. So that point alone to me stood out and won Jeff this round. So I really like that point.
Yeah, I'm going with Dub because he brought up a couple of really good points about fundamental football. Listen, the Derrick Henry thing, that's an added bonus because if you get even a little bit of Derrick Henry and Foreman together, like they're okay. I got Dub by a hair.
But wait, I did acknowledge that whole thing. I said it's not hard for them to run the football.
OJ doesn't listen sometimes though. He's in his own head thinking what he's gonna say. Not listen to somebody
that
else.
was smart by Dub. He's like, yeah, man, one of the great philosophers I know, Anthony. He said this one quote, and I'm just gonna invoke this quote, knowing that he's a judge. No, that's smart. That's chess. That's good.
Yeah, exactly. Jeff was playing checkers. Dub was playing chess.
You can get that point, Matt. What's your decision, big dog? Niners, brother.
Oh.
So, I think it's good. I think it was close. I will have to side with Jeff in this one. Now, I think Dub brought. I think you won the argument when it came to the Bills. I thought you put your points out there really good in that discussion. But in the Bengals Titans game, I don't think that, and I don't think their problem necessarily is that Henry's like not going to be at full strength or whatnot. But when you have an NFL team that hasn't played with their star player, it usually doesn't just mesh immediately. Like, that's my same issue with the Packers. They got all these guys back. Sick. You have like 6 new starters. You have like 6 new starters that you have not played with. When you have that like issue, I just find it hard. I don't know if they're even going to be able to dictate their style of football, though. And I think that's one where if you're looking at the upsets this week in AFC, I'm definitely going with the Bengals. I think that the Titans have won a lot of games. They're in a bad division where the Bengals are as hot as any team right now. And I think the Raiders win kind of gets like forgotten about just because the Raiders were the least flashy team in the playoffs. I don't think there's any question about that. Mm-hmm. But this Titans team struggled a lot. And Ryan Tannehill has had a really, really bad year. Jeff brought that up a lot. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think you were bad.
Can I
do want to say something? So yeah, go ahead.
I do. So, running backs don't get paid for a reason. It's because it's easier to replace running backs than a lot of other people. And the way that Derrick Henry is, though, you can't take away his vision on the field, who he is, and his ability to run through people. So it's not hard for him to still be who he is, regardless of what caliber of player he is.
Right,
that's one of the easiest players to do. I just wanted to say that. I mean, I lost already.
The adjustment is you're telling Ryan Tannehill, instead of throwing the ball 40 times, now that Henry's in the game, threw it 25 times. That's a major adjustment. It's not just Derrick Henry. The adjustment is really greater on Tannehill than anything else.
I'm glad he's on mute. Okay.
Jeff, you wanna give your 30 seconds real quick? Dub's muted, so we can't really hear him.
Yes, I will take my 30 seconds. Follow me at Basketball for Brains on TikTok. Y'all, the 49ers are still alive. We got the Packers matchup this weekend. I am excited. Because I love that matchup for my Niners. Now, taking a step back, taking my analytic hat off and putting my fan hat on, we got this, baby. We got this. They got that tune-up game in Dallas. They look good. They know how to run the ball, and they're mentally tough. We're short-handed. We got a lot of injuries we're dealing with. People are leaving the field, and we're still making impact. I think we had 5 sacks last game. So watch out, Aaron Rodgers. We're going to bring the pressure. And you know what? The Packers are not immune to folding. Seen it before.